Russell to the board. It was a long, hard fought battle.
It was.
It's kind of close.
It was.
Congratulations.
Too bad I got hurt.
Battle. See where we start. Not here yet.
What do you need to swear in?
Heather is the only one with swearing.
Well, Heather's here, so.
No, we can do that right now.
Guessing that's come up here?
Yeah, that's good.
Make it official. Make it official. All fancy. I am all fancy.
Raise your right hand and read the top line.
I just have to think about my right. I, Heather Hunter, do solemnly and sincerely swear and affirm that I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon me as cemetery trustee of Grafton, New Hampshire for 3 years according to the best of my abilities, agreeable to the rules and regulations of this Constitution and the laws of the state of New Hampshire. So help me God. This I do under the pains and penalties of perjury.
Is this mine?
Yep. Yeah.
The 21st.
Yeah. Thank you.
And then yours. And we're good?
Yep.
Perfect. Thank you.
Easy.
Easy peasy.
Can we move on to the next one?
Yep.
I make a motion that Leaf is chairperson.
Second.
So for ex officios, I have multiple thoughts.
We have what, 9 departments? I think.
8.
We got police, fire, ambulance, highway, recycling, budget, recreation, library, and planning board.
Recreation doesn't get a liaison. Do you want to add a liaison to that?
I would just, they're a department, I don't care, because they're pretty quiet.
I just, we never had a
No,
liaison for them.
so there's 8.
Yeah. So my first thought was I would take fire, ambulance, and dump. Russell would take highway, police, and planning board. And Jenny would take the budget and the library.
I don't want the library. I'll kill somebody.
Okay. So my second thought was I take highway, dump, and library. Russell would take police, planning board, and fire. And Jenny would take budget and ambulance.
Okay,
We can mix match how it goes. I know we talked about this before, but I was looking at it, it's like, the way we had talked about it, you got no meetings at all,
No meetings?
no meetings. Because highway, dump, and police have no meetings.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You want to give me
Usually get
somebody who has-
one meeting, so you
well,
have a
see, in
liaison.
past years, what we did,
That's why I was giving him the planning board too, that I get
but in
myself.
past years, the police, the highway, and recycling, we all did it. Whoever they could get a hold of took care of it.
Yes, and I think actually for the meetings, that might be a good idea, because you should always be there for a meeting, regardless of who shows up, it doesn't really matter, I mean,
Right.
bring back the message, unless you feel differently.
So you wondered what the police, highway, and the dump,
Yeah, we
did
always,
all of us?
we did, we always did it.
Well, I was thinking the other way around,
What's the other way around?
but, planning, well, people at meetings, planning board, EMS, Who else has?
Fire,
Fire,
library.
and library. Well, why can't that just be anybody that goes?
Usually, so we would know who was going. So all three of us wouldn't show up to one meeting, not one would show up to another meeting.
Oh, so you can get,
And with the planning board and the budget committee, they are actually officios.
I don't mind using the budget.
So the planning board and the budget would actually have voting rights.
correct, that's more than ex officio,
Yeah,
or that is a liaison.
So that would be two meetings, that would have to be one person.
Let's see.
So it's like, one.
The highway is important this year. I'm retired, I can put forth a lot of energy that I mean, Jenny obviously can, but I don't know if she cares to get down to the highway and pay attention to them all the time. I can do that, and I'm willing to do that, so I figured that was an important one that should be taken care of by me. Police,
I think you should do the police, for sure.
another thing too is, I resigned as a part-time employee for the highway, so that I can help them in ways so I don't have to recuse myself. So I was hoping for highway. Police, it's kind of unfortunately I have to recuse myself for certain things where it may be a monetary gain for me, but I don't think it matters because everything is
The police and the
pretty
town are
much
pretty
taken
much
care of. They're self-sufficient.
self-sufficient. We don't,
Correct, so,
I think last year we heard anything about.
so I figured take
The-
police
I
because it's easy and
I
I
don't
know
know anybody who's ever been liaison for the police.
there was never a liaison.
Never.
for the police.
No, just had someone, one of us, who was always,
If they had a problem,
would take care of it.
they'd
I
come.
wanted town clerk, tax collector,
Didn't have that.
okay? And I thought because highway was close to, because the transfer station was close to highway, and they intermingle with machines and employees and that sort of thing, that it should all be the same liaison.
If we're putting all three of us together, all three of us, so.
The problem is,
Call whoever.
the problem is, none of these have so-called meetings,
Yeah.
but I can tell you that I've been down to highway for at least 4 days in a row for an hour each time. That's gotta be equivalent to a meeting. I would be no benefit to the town on the budget committee, even though I really like it. I'm an
You can have
employee,
it next
I'm
year.
an employee of the police department, so. And what are the other ones? What about ambulance? Actually, technically an EMR, I don't know how that would play, I'd have to look it up. But they don't get paid, which is a good thing.
We get stipend.
I've never received a stipend.
Just saying, we get a stipend, so technically we do get paid.
Yeah. So,
Technically, I didn't want planning board.
you don't want planning board? You can give me planning board. So, I'll tell you what, I'll take planning board. That's 5 things on my plate out of the 9. If it gets to be a little too much and it's not advantageous for the town, I'll shed somebody else's way.
Because I'll take fire and ambulance in the library.
Okay, so,
Okay. So, we pretty much got it straightened out?
To give Jenny budget and.
there's that budget, not much else.
So we have leaf with EMS,
That goes
fire,
in the library.
and library. Jenny, budget? Jenny,
What?
Can we stick you with rec field just in case something comes up?
Well, okay,
They've got somebody to go to?
correct. I don't mind.
Because, I think that we need to have the communication. We've had some issues in the past where
Yep.
there just wasn't somebody there for them. So Jenny, budget, rec committee, leaf, EMS, fire, library. I'll take police, highway, transfer station, town clerk, tax collector, and planning.
Some of them I don't think even need it.
No, there's no, it's not gonna be anything for it.
The dump never needs us unless it's
Yeah.
a catastrophe.
And the police aren't gonna do much. There's a couple little
Those
things.
three.
Right, self-sufficient.
I think one thing last year we had to deal with the police is when you retired.
And they've always, anybody on any of these departments have always called whoever they can find. That's selectmen, that'll help them. So that's not a problem.
Indemnification of negligence. The governing body of a municipality may vote to indemnify from loss any municipal official or employee against whom a claim is brought after such a vote. Indemnification in the context of this statute means to reimburse the official or employee for any financial loss or expense, including legal fees and costs arising out of the claim brought against an official or employee in his or her personal capacity. Minutes of the meeting during which the vote is taken shall clarify or reflect the action. The vote need not be reaffirmed in subsequent years. Once adopted, the decision to indemnify is applicable only to actions consulting negligence and within the scope of the person's employment or office. Indemnification will not be available for intentional or malicious acts. This is just something we gotta vote on every year, yea or nay, protect ourselves.
I make a motion that we accept the indemnification for negligence, RSA 31-105.
I second.
Third.
Have you got the minutes over there?
Yep.
I make a motion, we accept the March 7th minutes.
Second. Ex officio reports. The library was pretty much just waiting. We're just waiting for this recount to happen to see what they were gonna do afterwards. And they picked two alternates, Catherine and Paige. Can't remember Paige's last name. Just library.
Okay. Well, I don't have the roll yet, but there is something from the highway, and that is the replacement of the truck that was totaled. I don't have the exact figures
It's a lot of money.
of the insurance money that came back, but I think it was somewhere around hundreds of 2,000. If you look inside the highway, to replace the truck, it's approximately $152,000. So there's $50,000 that's gonna have to come from somewhere in order to replace the truck. I think that it's a big deal, and it's probably top on the priority list for the town, for a couple of different reasons. The truck some issues with CDL drivers, and I am gonna assume that with the labor pool that we have nowadays, that those issues might continue. And the truck is a plan B. It also needs time to be built. You buy a truck, you buy the parts, you pay somebody to put it together. This particular truck is sitting somewhere, which is great. And the parts have been ordered and they're sitting someplace else, and a person backed out of the sale. So if Highway gets a brand new truck that they order to their specifications, then it could take beyond the winter to have it all put together and run the Grafton. I don't think we should wait that long. This is a truck that's pretty much the exact same thing as the one that we had. It's the same make, same CV 515, same size. The setup is a little bit different. I think it's got a side sander instead of a back sander. But without getting into all the little, it might have a chrome bumper versus whatever the last one had.
Who cares?
Yeah, it's a little bit
The
different.
bumper doesn't run it.
The issue is coming up with the $50,000. I don't know, I didn't have time to familiarize myself with where there's money in the budget.
We are not agents to expend from the capital reserve, so we can't touch it.
Okay, so what about this ARPA or
They would take
ARPA?
everything in the ARPA fund.
Okay.
And I've already talked to Jeffrey about this, and he told me probably doesn't come out of the budget. He said,
So can a portion, is there anything left in ARPA?
In ARPA, we also got the
We have,
Is there a
fire department,
The fire station floor,
or
is that a possibility? I don't even know if it's a possibility. I
No.
don't know if they're earmarked for something.
that's built, wait for buildings, right?
So, that was initially given in 2019, and there was 5 years to spend it. I have to put out a call to the DRA to find out if we're in that 5th year or if we're past that 5th year.
I believe we're in the 5th year.
Yeah, so they said we
And
had this year
then
to finish it
If
off.
we do have it, it can only be used towards the buildings, so the fire station building or the town office building.
Okay. So regardless, if we can't use that money, we still have some monies in, what does it start with? An H, ARPA?
ARPA,
I have no idea what you just said.
ARPA.
They are, okay.
ARPA.
So we still have some monies probably there. Now, I don't know if it's 5,000 or 25,000. I'd like to see that used up for this purpose. I mean, I think it's
Well, we had previously, before you were on the board, we had talked about taking 4,000 of it and buying a potty for the library, remember?
They already bought one.
But this one is no good. It has bags and nobody ever changes
All the incinerator.
the inside, so we had talked about buying an incinerator one.
Yeah, because we were also talking about using it to pay off some of the computer IT stuff.
Right. So we'll have to look to see what we have for money.
We know what the total is.
And in worst case, it comes out of the budget.
Yeah,
So
pretty sure it's at least some of it's not gonna
Because
come
we-
out of the budget.
because we have a place that it can come from, I don't think I'd be overstepping to ask for a motion to go ahead and purchase the truck. With whatever money's coming from ARPA and the highway budget.
Second.
One is the, because, well, I read part of this, it's gonna take them all summer to put it together.
It is, it's gonna take them a significant amount of time, and that's why
So,
I'd
Is this
like
the
to
truck-
see
Is this the
something.
truck they're building, or is this the truck that Reed has?
They have to build it regardless, except one of them's sitting on, the one that is in these papers is sitting on a lot. if he orders one, it's not even sitting on the lot yet. So you're probably not gonna get one until spring if we go with something other than this particular truck. And obviously it'll be more money if you wait until,
This is another international too, isn't it?
it's pretty much the same thing.
Is there any way we can drop some of the stuff off that they don't really need?
What do they not need?
Compact disc player MP3,
Oh, yeah.
the
no.
camera system,
Truck comes how it comes, the truck is the truck. It's,
as I was saying, is that the truck that
that's the
they
truck
have?
that's on the lot.
Or that
yeah.
they're gonna send out and rebuild, and build a new truck?
That's one that they have on the lot.
Okay,
So you buy it from one person,
it's what they,
transport it to the other person, they have the parts to put it together.
I know, I thought you, when I asked, I thought you meant that this truck was coming, we was ordering it,
Yeah.
this specific build for us.
Right, no.
Okay.
So this build was actually for somebody else, but it almost mirrors what we had.
Yeah.
It probably would if Bobby hadn't had it cut off 3 feet.
Yeah, I don't know what the,
That's the one that was in the accident. What, the frame was cut back 3 feet.
But we're gonna get together and see where the money's coming from, how much we take from ARPA. How much is gonna affect his.
so do we need to wait beyond today to decide to buy the truck?
No.
Because they're gonna, I mean, the truck's for sale. It's not like you can call them up and say, hey, put a hold on that for me.
No, we can go to take, buy it now, just, we have to find out.
Yeah,
We
then
know
we have to find the money.
Yeah,
We know-
worst case scenario, it's coming from his budget.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
And-
the way I look at it.
He's already told me he's saving money by cutting a lot of stuff out that he doesn't need to do this coming year.
God, they list everything.
Yeah.
They do. And the reason why I say the ARPA money, whatever you guys haven't promised it to other departments, is to help alleviate the budget a little bit from the big hit.
We got at least 30,000 of that coming along to the ambulance.
Okay.
Sorry, Bonnie,
It's all right.
we're gonna need to stop this for now, we got Bonnie. So, yeah, Jenny, or Russell motioned, I second,
Okay, yeah,
for the truck.
Yep.
Which is up in the,
figure it out.
yeah.
Okay.
This Holbrook,
Did Heather get sworn in?
yep,
Oh, there she is,
next in,
Perfect.
Okay, so it was exactly a year ago I came here to meet with the board. So it's no secret that I've had a horrible relationship with the Board of Selectmen over the past 3 years, and I want to stop that. Last year I came before the board and said, what can I do to make it better? There wasn't one suggestion to me what to do. So we continued another year of horrible relationships. I don't want that anymore. I think that going forward, we're a new board. I've worked with Jenny in the past, we work well together. I'm sure we will work well together. So, having said that, I asked, the most important thing to me is communication. So, I don't want to wait 3 weeks to find out you're not going to pay me. I'd like you to either come to me or have Sarah come to me and say, we're not going to pay you. Communication is so important. I mean, it's vital between our offices. We're all town employees and we're all here for the good of the town. And I really, really would like you to talk to me and I'll continue to talk with all of you. I think Sarah and I have a really good relationship, and we go back and forth and work with each other, so
Good.
I think moving forward, we can be in a much better place. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is tax agreements. So every year, the board goes into to tax agreements with people who are in jeopardy of losing their property. Until 3 years ago, I always was involved in the meetings. It didn't take place if I wasn't there, and it's only appropriate. I'm the tax collector. So for the past 3 years, every single contract that's been signed by the Board of Selectmen has been wrong. You've got one right now who should be paying off his 2020, and he's still going to be $1,500 short because the payment wasn't done correctly. The last 5 have been wrong. So I ask you to consider letting me be part of that process again. I always was. Jenny knows I always sat in the meetings. Plus, you don't have any idea of communication between me and the taxpayers, or maybe the taxpayer's brother, or and not that I can legally make any agreements, but at least I have that information for you.
Right.
And we've sat in the past in the board back before 3 years, they would take my input as to, was that person reliable in making their payments? Were they not reliable? It just makes sense. So that's the first thing. And I'm not asking for answers tonight, but I just want to throw the things out to you that I'd like us to work on. So the tax agreements was the first thing. The room upstairs. So this was a battle for the last 2 years. There's a room upstairs that has all my stuff in it, my records and stuff. 2 years ago, I think it was, I asked for a key because somebody had been going in there and going through all my records. And everything I do for elections and town clerk are confidential. Tax collector not. But all of my election and all of my town clerk records are up there.
Which room is that, Bonnie?
The one that was the welfare office years ago.
Oh,
And then-
yeah.
Yeah, so that has all of my stuff in it, all my receipts, my everything.
Why would anybody need to be in there?
Well, back when I asked permission last time, so history books are in there, which we could easily, I mean, I'm the one that sells the most of them, but I mean, we could easily, what I had talked to before was having the selectmen stuff, which there's not that many. There's binders of minutes, and there's town reports and history books. That's the only thing that Sarah would need access. So last year or 2 years ago, when I asked for a key, I was told no, and then finally I contacted David Scanlon, and he wrote a letter to the selectmen and to myself saying that I was to have a key, and that I was supposed to be the only person that has a key. Nobody else should have it.
So if you needed to get in there, what did you have to do?
Well, I have a key, but now,
No, before you
before,
had
they
to.
wouldn't lock it. There was no lock. It was just open.
So I have a solution.
I love a solution.
There is a police department room up there that it's a mess. It's a catch-all. They don't use it really for much. They have plenty of space in the garage that can be used for that. If there's anything up there that they want to use, it has a lock on it. You can, I would say that if it's okay with the board, you can have the police department room.
That room isn't big enough for me.
So, no, the thing,
So give that room to
Sarah.
Sarah for the book, the overflow of the books that are in your room, and you just purchase a lot.
it's already locked.
Okay?
But
So-
Sarah has a key,
Yeah.
but she shouldn't.
Okay, let me continue here. The reason we have a key is because there's still stuff that Sue was supposed to move out, but Sue quit before she could, and no one ever went up there and moved it out.
All right, nobody ever
Once-
communicated that to me.
We told you that, Rick, we told you that when you got the key.
No, I was told, no, that's not true,
Bonnie,
Lee.
I was there.
I was there too. What I was told,
We gave you a key at
Yeah.
a meeting and said we're gonna keep one key so Sue can have access to the
So-
town until we can move it out.
I never was told to move it out
So
because
We were
that's
going,
perfect,
we were gonna move our stuff out
perfect.
and then we
That's all I'm
give you the
asking.
key.
I would simply propose to move the stuff, have her buy a lock.
So it's already locked.
Get it done. That's
She
all.
has a key
I'll have
in
to
the
change
lock.
the lock because there's a key in the selectman's office, but
So-
that's fine.
I just give you the key.
I would
That's fine.
No one's made a copy of the key.
So you, Sarah, and myself can work together, we can move the stuff. And you can change the lock, that way nobody has a key but you,
Perfect,
is what I'm thinking.
perfect.
Good.
Good.
The selectmen stuff can go out in the hallway.
Well, no, it can go in,
There's nothing.
we'll move the police stuff out so that there's
Yeah, it'll fit in there.
ample space.
Plus, if we just clean up, that is a catch-all in that hallway upstairs. And we've already addressed that with the labor board. They said all of that should be gone. And it's all junk, computers that don't work, vacuum cleaners that are broken, junk.
There's
And-
housekeeping that needs to take
Yeah,
place.
I mean, because Lee is right, all this stuff could really, other than the minutes, but you can put history books out there, you can put town reports out there. I mean, there's plenty of space to move that stuff. And there's plenty of space in that back room, the one where the planning board keeps that little desk, but there's a whole big room there that I cleaned out like a year and a half ago. I mean, there's plenty of space, it's not an issue.
But that's the only reason we got a key is because Sue was going to go up and move all the stuff out and everything hit the fan and Sue
Okay,
resigned.
but between the two of you, you have access, and you can use me for the labor, and we'll just get it done.
Mitchell's usually hanging around.
The other thing, I didn't come before the board, but Tom McGinty, who was supposed to be my liaison, came before the board. And, well, that's what Cindy told me.
I was.
Cindy told me that Tom McGinty was.
Cindy
So
should
Tom
read it.
McGinty met with me twice. And in one of those meetings, I talked to him about the cleaning person. Because for ages, not right now, because we don't have a cleaning person, but for ages, the cleaning person cleaned Sue's office. Russell had a cleaning person for his. They cleaned the bathroom over at the firehouse. They cleaned here, but I was never afforded a cleaner. So I sent Tom, and I've watched Paul's video to see what they said. And they said I couldn't have one. And the reason being is that the person that was doing it didn't want to work on Fridays.
What hours are good for you as far as cleaning?
Anytime on Friday. I say I close at 11, but I'm never out of there before 4. I mean, if I were going to be a cleaning person, I'd want to do it in the morning, but I'll work around them.
Okay, so I
But-
saw an ad up, are we actually looking for a cleaning person?
Yes, I haven't got a lot of hits, but I have recently just got 2 applicants. I had one Thursday that I interviewed and one that actually came in today. And so I interviewed her when she filled out the
Okay.
application.
So maybe, is Friday an option for them?
If,
I'm assuming it's a part-time cleaning person.
yep, yeah.
If Friday is an option, I mean, I don't see why, if Bonnie's in the office, the person can't go over there and vacuum and go down the hallway and into her office.
The only concern about them cleaning during Bonnie's open hours is
Mhm.
having people in the way when they clean.
How busy is it Friday morning?
Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. But that doesn't take hardly anything in that hallway. It'd be the most of it'll be in the office, and they don't come in there.
I mean, I can tell you the worst part about it is getting a phone call and the floor is being vacuumed. You know,
Couldn't come in like
Yeah.
noon.
people coming
Well,
on.
close
trying
at
to
noon.
lock when people.
I close at 11.
You go down.
I close at 11, but I never close my doors till about 4.
So if they come in like noon, you're not really taking.
What I'm saying is I don't care. I mean, it's up to them. Again, if I were going to do a part-time job, I'd want to do it first thing in the morning, but I don't care. You know, I
Are
put
you
in my
asking if
budget.
you can go in when she's not there? Is that
No,
what you're
No.
asking?
you can't go over.
At noon after she's not serving anyone else.
Yeah.
Here, 11
Look,
o'clock even.
it's a
Yeah.
small building. They just poke over and say, Bonnie, you got 15 minutes? And
Yeah.
Bonnie's like, yeah, come on over.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
2 years ago, I put in my budget for $15 a week, and the select board cut it to $7.50 a week. And who can you buy for $7.50 a week? And then the budget committee took my $7.50 a week away. So consider it, please.
It's,
Now that we're hiring somebody new, it seems the opportune time to do it.
I don't think it would be an issue on it.
So the next thing I'd like to talk about is postage, or I guess any type of reimbursement. So the selectmen apparently, and I was gonna dig it out, but I didn't dig it out. They set a new policy last year or the year before, I don't remember when. And I don't remember the exact, I think you only have, you might know, Russell, because you ran into this, but you only have like 60 or 90 days to submit receipts.
I did run into it, and it's ridiculous as a
Well, it
department.
is ridiculous. I've got all this money that they wouldn't reimburse me for. I mean,
So,
because right now, I have to submit a postage reimbursement for $1.27, $1.57. It's crazy. Sarah's drawing these checks.
when I say that, I say it from a department head's point of view, because I don't know that when it, the point of view from the selectman's office as to why it would have to take place. I mean, look, it's an annual budget. If budgeting properly, the money should be there to reimburse the person for something, especially if it's in your budget, So I can't think of a good reason to not reimburse the person when they decide to give us the
Well, I
information.
could see it if I went into the wrong year, if I held stuff back too long.
Right, we're not talking
But
about that.
I feel the same way, Russell. When I get my budget approved by the voters, that's my money. So it's the same with my salary. Last year, I was denied my salary at the end of the year because I didn't pass in the backup. I passed in the request, but not the backup. So I was refused my salary. That's money that the voters approve for me to have. I don't get raises unless the voters give it to me. So it's put aside, it's earmarked for me. This postage money is earmarked for me.
So how do you, what do you get, 1099?
I had to get a 1099 this year because I was denied my money. Yeah.
Okay, so you're making out checks for postage reimbursement for $1.50?
$1.57, $1.29.
Now, how much do those checks cost when we buy them?
Probably $1.50.
So I think,
It's not just that, it's Sarah's time. I mean, you make out 12
That's
checks or you
crazy.
make out one.
And yours, because now I have to do a request for reimbursement. I have to make
So you
copies.
said this is a policy? Do you
Yeah.
have it with you?
I didn't, but I can pull it. Sarah
I
has
think we can
it.
take care of it.
I
Motion to
I've never even seen this.
get rid of that policy.
I know about it,
I've never even seen
Yeah, it's in the accounting
but I didn't know
policy,
it was this bad.
It's in the accounting
It is,
policy,
it's,
right?
Yeah.
it's horrible to work with.
Okay, so, but it costs the town money for those checks, that's crazy. I mean, we
Why
shouldn't
don't
be
we just
spending.
motion to abolish this.
I don't even think we need to go any further with
Yeah,
that
I'll-
conversation.
Right, I'll give a motion to abolish the policy of reimbursement. Did you ever get your
Second.
Third.
salary,
I did, but
your stipend?
Looks like a raise.
I had to get, instead of them taking taxes out of it, I had to get a 1099, I've got to pay taxes on it myself, which isn't a big deal.
No, but
The
it's
idea-
higher on her, because
Well, it was.
she has to go and get a whole package of 1099s for one thing. That's crazy.
But not only that, Jenny, the voters approved my pay. They approved it.
Right,
And legally, when I contacted the Attorney General, he said that was totally illegal to hold my pay.
yes, it is.
Totally illegal.
Yes, it is.
You know, but do I step up to the plate, and I've had this conversation with you, do I sue you for doing this
You
stuff
got
to
it.
me?
You got it. We
Or,
abolish it.
I
What's
know,
next?
but I'm explaining to Jenny, or do I sue myself?
Yeah, that's crazy.
So the last thing I want to talk about is a credit card.
That's on my to-do list. I'm gonna try and look into that.
Okay, So back when I originally, so I approached the board twice about it. And back when I did, I had researched a whole bunch of towns on how they handled it and stuff, and I gave it all to Cindy.
It's
and I-
handled a little different in different towns.
Right, right.
I've actually got some information.
Oh, good,
as to-
okay. Well, if you need
the right way
this,
to
if
do
you
it.
can't find it,
Is that it right there?
this is, yeah, that I,
If
That's
those
there's
are
a whole
not-
bunch of different towns
This
that
what you gave
responded.
Cindy?
Yeah, well, I gave it to the office, but Cindy's the one that requested it. On how different towns handle a credit card.
Can I get a copy of that from you?
Yeah,
Prior?
yeah,
Or
sure.
tomorrow?
Or Friday, I'm not in tomorrow, but yeah, in tomorrow.
I'll read it from Sarah then.
Yeah, and you're welcome to it anytime, but, you know, like I said to Sarah, it's a pain, but oftentimes I have to lay out $500-600 for certified letters, and that's what happens with the next town clerk. Maybe they can't do that.
Right.
You know, and we can't get a charge account at the post office, there's no way to. So we need to think of some way.
That's taken care of. You
Perfect,
took care of that one. We're good.
you're good. The rest of the stuff again is just communication.
You'll have it, you'll get it.
I trust you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
I said to Randy tonight, the first night I was ready to come meet with you guys. Thank you.
Okay. Public comment time.
I have a question regarding the insurance money for the fire department. If there's an expiration date on it, and it sounds like it's rapidly approaching, is there a plan for that money? Are we gonna spend it or lose it?
We have to see what the fire department and town hall needs, and how much is there. I believe it's just for that section of land.
Right.
I'd hate to see it go by.
Well, it would go to the general fund.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's not a retraction?
We don't lose it.
Yeah,
It just
we
goes,
won't give it back to the insurance company.
it
It'll
goes,
go to the general fund.
I figured it was fine.
Ryan,
Was the highway truck that was totaled, not covered under the town insurance?
it was,
Right.
we got 102,000 for it.
Yeah, sorry, and that doesn't cover, so it's 152,000, that's what we need another 50,000, is that what? Okay. Wow.
Well, depreciation,
Plus,
plus what the
the last 2
parts are.
years have been ridiculous in
Yeah.
vehicle prices, inflation. And that
I'm
sort
just
of
surprised it wasn't a replacement cost or something.
stuff. We threw those words around the office. We've got to start talking about potentially calling the insurance company and seeing whether or not, see what the premium difference would be for a replacement
Right.
versus this is what you guys get.
Because that's like, what, a quarter of the whole highway department, a fifth of the whole highway department budget?
It's a significant amount.
Thanks.
And it's very frustrating. I've been a selectman off and on for a long time. And what happens is, we run for an office, we get the office, and they have given us permission to take care of the duties of the town. Then we put on a warrant article to be agents to expend from the highway department or the library or whatever, and they vote it down like they think we're going to take their money and take a vacation somewhere with it. And you know, the way things are set up by the state, you can't do that.
We used to expend to the highway department, police department, capital reserve, but then,
Yep.
I think what, 6-8 years ago, someone put a warrant article to remove us.
Yep.
And this is what happens.
And this-
Something happens
yep.
and you can't.
And now there's money in the capital reserve
Yeah,
for the highway department, but we can't touch it unless we have
a
a
town meeting.
special meeting, which costs money.
Who is agent to expend the?
No one,
No one.
The legislative body, they have to
you guys have to.
ask
vote.
you guys to vote on it.
Yep.
Got it.
Gary, do you have a question?
I'd like to make a statement. Avatar, some time ago, a couple months ago, we talked about the habit they have of barging onto people's property in
We have
spite
a-
of
We have a letter from
no
Heather Hart.
trespassing signs and whatnot. I'd just like to add to that a little bit. As I mentioned, I was a victim of that myself, and subsequent to that, I went to see Sarah and I got my assessment card, and lo and behold, for whatever reason, all of a sudden, my house has central air conditioning. There's no condenser unit, there's no ducting, I have no central air conditioning. Not the first time something like this happened, about 2 or 3 years ago. They changed my depreciation factor from average to good.